Good morning, students. Very good morning. Today we have come for the fourth lecture in continuation of our earlier days lecture number 3, that is the estimation of the sanitary sewage. So in continuation of estimation of sanitary sewage, I just remembering the earlier part which we highlighted. We just focused on the source part, that is the source of generation of the sewages, that is the sanitary sewages, domestic as well as the industry, and other public source which we have found the different sources where from the sewage water generated, that we have seen. And then we have think certain unaccounted portion of the which is not accounted, the unaccounted portion of the wastewater which has to be added with the accounted quantity for finding out the quantity estimate in our design of the sewerage that we have seen. And then the infiltration part has to be taken care in addition to the accounted supply domestic water in our premises, in the industries, in the end utility for end users portions. So that infiltration, suppose the rainwater infiltrates into the ground, as well as the groundwater infiltrates into the leakage of the sewer water that we have seen in the earlier lectures, that has to be taken care in the addition part. But there are certain leakages in the pipe materials, pipe joints, valves, as well as the bends, etc., that has to be subtracted, because while calculating the estimation of the sanitary sewage, especially I'm discussing on the estimation of the sanitary sewage in the sewer for designing the hydraulic sewer. So in that estimate, that losses of water through the pipe leakages, that has to be deducted. Same thing, all water, not wastewater, which has been used totally. There is no wastage. For example, I have created in my last lecture. That is the water used in boiler, whole water used in the steam. So that particular portions of the water which is not coming into the wastewater, that portion has to be in the subtracted part. So in nutshell, in average, we have just given an idea. We have learned in the last lectures that 75 to 80% of the supplied, I mean to say the authorized supplied water, portion, that 75 to 80% of the authorized supply water you can take care for the sewage flow. This portion we have discussed, just to remembering you, and in continuation of that we will start our lecture today. Same thing, that is the sanitary sewage estimation is continuing in my lecture. Now you can see my lecture, what I am delivering today. I want to highlight the variation of the sewage flow. This is very, very important, because the variation, it may be the hourly variation, daily variation, seasonal fluctuations, because the variation and usage of the water varies from season to season, hour to hour, day to day. Just I am giving one example before giving the lectures. Let us see the typical hourly variation of the sewage flow. You see, the y-axis is the flow rate and the x-axis is the time. That means we have tried to show over here is the fluctuations of the wastewater with respect to time. Now the curve which is in light, uh, which is shown as a light curve, that is marked as a water demand, and the curve which is bold in nature, it is shown, that is we have marked as sewage flow. So obviously the sewage flow is a portion of the water demand in the peak, when it shows the peak value. You see the 8 a.m., that is the peak value, because we used to take care for going to the office, school, colleges, in our duties. So there will be a preparation of the bathing and all these things, and again we'll come back at home. So after 6 p.m. again there will be a pressure on the pipe, usage of the pipe, as the domestic pressure will felt at the time 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Suppose for an example I am giving, then automatically the sewerage, that is the wastewater which have been considered as 75 to 80% of the water supply, that also is going to increase. So as water demand fluctuates, the sewage flow also fluctuates. So this one example I have shown in this graph. Let me discuss fluctuations of the sewage flow. Now this sewage flow generally occurs over annual average, generally considered annual average daily flow. But fluctuations in flow occurs from hour to hour and from season to season. As I have shown you the hourly variation in the graph just now, I have shown you that it's 6 p.m. and the 8 a.m. The peak value we have shown depending upon our usage of the water as per our functional usage. So definitely in hourly there is a variation of the sewage flow that we have seen. Now, if the flow is gauged, that means the measured near the origin where it just generates. Origin means where it generates. If it is measured at that point, definitely there will be some peak value, and that peak value will differ afterwards. If the sewage has to travel a long distance, because from the source, from the origin, sewage has to traverse quite a distance to meet with the main trunks where or some disposal point. So that traveling distance and the length of the lateral swell, definitely it will defer the sewage, definitely it will just decrease the peak value. So this is because of the time required in collecting a sufficient quantity of sewage required to fill the sewers and time required in traveling. So what we have learned that as sewage flow in sewer lines, so definitely more paths it has to traverse. Not only that, the as sewage flow in more time, so basically what we have seen that quantity of sewage required to fill the sewers and time required in traveling, and more sewage is mixed in it due to continuous increase in the area. Area means I mean to say that the area which are being served by the sewer lines. So again I am repeating, as sewage flow in sewer lines, more and more sewage is mixed in it due to continuous increase in area, because from the area the sewage is coming. So as more the area, larger the area we are talking, and the sewer line process, definitely we will be expecting that the more sewage is mixed in it due to continuous increase in the area being served by the sewer line. So this leads to reduction in the fluctuations in the sewerage flow, and lag period goes on increasing. Now the magnitude of variation in the sewage quantity, again I repeat, the magnitude in the what I am saying, the magnitude in the time required collecting sufficient quantity of sewage, as sewage flow in sewer lines, more and more sewage is mixed in it due to continuous increase in area being served by the sewer line. So this leads to reduction in fluctuations, and the lagging period also goes on increasing. The magnitude of variation in the sewage quantity varies from place to place, and it is very difficult to predict. For smaller township, this variation will be more pronounced due to lower length and travel time before sewage reach to the main sewer. For larger cities, this variation will definitely get less, will be becoming less. So what we have come, if this is a lesser volume of the city, less area, the fluctuations will be more. And if we talk about the more larger city, the more population dense city and larger city, then definitely the variation will be less. So this has to be kept in mind. Now for estimate, coming to the point of the estimating purpose, because we are talking for the estimation of the sewer part, sanitary sewage. So for estimating purpose, the design discharge following relation can be increased, because design has to be considered for the maximum value, not the average value. So always keep it in mind that whenever you do a design of a system, irrespective of any type, that maximum value we have to take care. And same thing we will consider here also, the sanitary estimation of the sanitary sewage for hydraulic system of design. When you are going to design, the maximum flow you have to consider. So what is the thumb rule? What is the design criteria? The maximum daily flow is 2 times the annual average daily flow, representing the seasonal variations, because the particular worst condition we have to consider. we don't have to go for the design for the average daily flow. We have to consider for the maximum daily flow. Now, if we talk for the maximum hourly flow, then it will be 1.5 times the maximum daily flow, which ultimately converts into 1.5 into 2. As we have already seen that maximum daily flow is nothing but the twice the annual average daily flow. So what conclusion we can do? We can do that maximum hourly flow is thrice the annual average daily flow, because 1.5 into 2 is 3, that is 3 times the average annual average daily flow, that is the maximum hourly flow. So as the tributary area, that is the resources when it is increases, short resources when it meets to the ultimate resources, that the tributary areas increases, then peak hour flow decreases because the distance increases. So more and more mixing will be happening, more and more flow is coming, covering the whole area. So definitely the fluctuations, that is the peak flow, will decrease. For smaller population, say up to 50,000 talking, the peak factor can be 2.5, and as the population served increases its value, definitely it will reduce. So for large cities, if we can talk, then this value, this 2.5 value, will become 1.5 to 2. So in nutshell, for outfall sewer, that means ultimately the sewer where it falls, the peak flow can be considered as the 1.5 times the annual average daily flow. Even for design of the treatment facility, the peak factor is considered as 1.5 times the annual average daily flow. So this is the thing. If we see the sewer size-wise, that is the smaller to larger. For diameter-wise, if we go, we know the main sewer, that is the trunk sewer, is the biggest diameter. Let us consider the 1.25 meter diameter or above. That is the trunk sewer, main sewer if we talk. So definitely the ratio of maximum flow to average flow, the peak factor will consider for designing in the sewer flow is 1.5. That means bigger the size of the sewer, less is the impact, less is the value of the factor, that is the increase factor, and less is the diameter, more is the multiplying factor, that you will see. Suppose if we talk for mains up to 1 meter diameter, then the peak factor, that means the ratio of maximum flow to average flow, is 2. And same we are discussing up to 0.5 meter diameter, it is 3, and 0.25 meter laterals, that is a 0.25 meter diameter up to 0.25 diameter, it is 4. So what we have seen, the peak factor for designing of the sewer goes on increasing as the size of the sewer is less, because the flow will be less. Fine. Now we are talking, we'll discuss the peak factor for sewer for hydraulic design. One formula by certain investigators in this research area, one formula, empirical formula I can show you, that is the Q max, that is the maximum flow, that is the peak sewerage flow for design consideration, has been connected with the population P of the city, of the town, of the places, rather I would say, with this formula. What is that formula? The Q max equal to 18 plus square root of P divided by 4 plus square root of P into Q average. So knowing the population, you can find out the maximum Q max. That is the experimental formula by certain investigators have been found in correlation with the maximum flow with the population. Now we all know last 3 classes, previous 3 lectures I have already highlighted. There are certain self-cleaning velocity, the term I am using, the minimum velocity flow has to be maintained in the sewer. Now, for the design purpose, we are taking care of the maximum flow for to suit our design of the sewer. That is fine. But when simultaneously we have to take care of the self-cleansing velocity, that means the minimum flow velocity of the sewer, so that the material, that is the polluted materials, always should be in suspended condition, and we won't allow these particles to settle into the bottom of the pipe. That is, silting should not be allowed, and that fundamental thing is the basic significance of the concept of the self-cleaning velocity, that we have to maintain in the sphere also. Otherwise, there will be a maintenance problem. Huge precipitation, siltation occurs in the spheres. So, considering in that mind, the minimum flow passing through the spheres is very important to develop the self-spinning velocity. So, now we will see the minimum flow velocity. This flow will generate in the spheres during late night hours, because the late night hours will be sleeping, so no usage of water. So definitely the minimum flow will only come in the night time when we will sleep, when the usage of water is less. So this effect of this flow is more pronounced on lateral sewers than the main sewers. Sewers must be checked to for minimum velocity. What minimum velocity for design of the sewer you have to check? Now you have to ensure that minimum daily flow is 2/3 of annual average daily flow. Again, I repeat, minimum daily flow is two-third of annual average daily flow. If you go for the hourly interval, then minimum hourly flow is half of minimum daily flow. That means half into two-third is 1/3 of annual average daily flow. That is the minimum hourly value, and minimum daily value also I have given. So the average, the overall variation between the maximum and minimum flow is more in the laterals, because in laterals, that is the minimum size there which you have seen, the maximum peak factor is there, and the minimum flow also has to be maintained in the lateral. So the overall variation between the maximum and minimum flow is more in the laterals and less in the main trunk sewers. This ratio may be more than 6 for laterals and 2 to 3 in case of main sewers. So as we go on increasing the diameter of the pipe, the variation between the maximum and minimum flow is minimum over here, but variation of maximum minimum is maximum, observing in the lesser diameter sewers, just like I have mentioned that the laterals. Now design period, because every design of the sewer, ultimately what is the purpose of the sewerage estimate of sanitary sewage? What is the basic purpose of this lecture? The basic purpose of this lecture, that this estimation of sewage is required for the hydraulic design of the sewer. Ultimately you have to design the pipe, design of the sewer through which the sewage will flow. Now this designing portion, now I will come the topic, the design period. Some design period is being considered in this design of the hydraulic structures, hydraulic sewer pipes, because this is designed for 20-30 years for a certain design period. Because why? Because if this design period has been fixed, because means I am mentioning the following factors on which this design period is depends. Why this design period comes? Because whenever I am investing certain capitals, whenever I am investing and certain money and designing system, I am commissioning the system, definitely it will have a value addition for next couple of years. That means 20 or 30 years, which will say the design period. And after that, we can go for expansion or can modify the system as per the situation needs. But generally, for a design of this hydraulic, that is sewer pipeline system, is being designed for a certain feasible period, which is dependent on the following point. That design period, that is the time in years, has been considered as a design period on the following factors. What are the factors? Ease and difficulty in expansion. Suppose today I have designed one piping sewerage systems. I have installed, I have commissioned, I have constructed and installed and commissioned. If I say after 5 years again I am changing the system, that may not be the technical feasible and may not be the financial viable also. So there should be some difficulty in expansion every time if situation permits. So keeping in mind the design period has to be considered. So my ease and difficulty of expansion has to be taken care, which is a technical part. Which is a technical part. The consideration of ease and difficulty in expansion has to be taken care for choosing the design period that so many years this pipeline system will serve. This sewer pipeline system will serve. Then obviously the government fund, that is the amount of availability of fund. Time to time construction is not possible always. the construction of the pipeline system is being done for a certain period with an initial investment. So it all depends on the amount and ability of the investment also. Then population growing is geometrically going day to day. We all know in population growing after 10 years, after 20 years, there will be a vast population, and as the population will be growing, we all know that the usage of the water will also be more as because the demand of the water is the per capita into the capita. So as the population will grow, definitely the water usage will be more. And if the water usage will be more, wastewater will be more, because the thumb rule is saying that 75 to 80% of the water, domestic water, authorized water has to be taken in the design consideration as a sewage water. So definitely more the population growth, more water usage is there, and more wastewater will come, and this present system may not work. So definitely with the projected population for coming 20 to 30 years, when you are designing, we are considering in future population forecasting also in taking care of this waste sanitary sewer system. Then the hydraulic constants of the system design. There are the system constants in the design also perpetual. The design cannot be based on the perpetual basis. So definitely it has some life period, 20 to 30 years, like these things. Obviously the life of material will come, because the material it will be depreciated day by day, and the equipment which will be installed, that is also a life period is there, which will be functioning according to the plumbing piping system, material piping system, and these are all the factors that life of the material equipment has also been considered in selecting of the design period of the sewerage design. So following design period, all these things keeping in mind, what are ultimately we are discussing what design period can be followed component wise, that let us look at a glance that the different design periods which have been considered for the different components of sewerage schemes. Now laterals from the smaller unit to bigger unit, let me start. The laterals less than 15 centimeter diameter, every time the changing in design system cannot be possible, because this is the primary focus. The lateral, the design initially started from the laterals less than 15 centimeter diameter. So this has been considered as a full development. Now coming to the point of trunk or main sewers, that is being designed for 40 to 50 years, considering the material longevity, material properties, and all these things. And accordingly, the population forecasting also being done with these years, so that no change in the wastewater for coming 40 to 50 years. Then the design period for treatment plants, that means what it is treated, the sewage is treated, that is considered 15 to 20 years, because after that the treatment plant needs to be expanded, because the quantity will be more, so that has to be taken care. That may not be, or maybe the trunk main sewers are functional, but the treatment units are not be cannot be functional after 20 years. So its design period is being maintained as 15 to 20 years. Now again, the pumping plant associated with the treatment plant, that is the integrated work, 5 to 10 years, because the pump will not be operated that efficiently after 10 years. So definitely need to be pumping plant, need to be redesigned, pump need to be redesigned, considering the capacity of the pump for lifting the sewage. Now last thing I want to highlight, the design discharge of sanitary sewage. This is the last thing. In today's lecture I will just deliver it. Now the total quantity of sewage generated per day, estimated as I have already told, that the forecasted future population and the per capita demand. This is the total, and the factor, that means the quantity of flow we will consider, and above that the peak factor you have to consider, considering the fluctuations, whether it is hourly, daily, seasonal fluctuation, that has to be taken care. So appropriate peak factor you have to consider. So now the per capita sewage generation can be considered as 75 to 80% of the per capita water supply per day, that in earlier lecture we have seen, and this is the continuation of the earlier lecture, because still we are in the estimation, in the topic title estimation of the sanitary sewage. So the increase in population also result in increase in per capita water demand and hence per capita production of the sewage. So this increase in water demand occurs due to increase in living standards betterment in economical condition and changes in habit of people. So more the usage of water, more is the wastewater generation. So this is the end of the topic of the uh, I mean to say the module 2 of your topic C505 as per your syllabus criteria, the estimation of the sanitary sewage. Next we will start our next lecture on the next day will be on the estimation of the storm sewage, that is the rainwater. So this is the sanitary wastewater, that is the sanitary sewage part estimation is covered. So again, I'm just recapitulating the overall lectures, the last day and the present day are 2 days lectures. 2 days lecture, that means the lecture number 3, lecture number 4, which has been focused for the estimation. How do you estimate the sanitary sewage? First of all, you have to identify the sewage. You have to identify the source of the sewage from where it is generated, and simultaneously you have to see what the extra addition can be taken place in design consideration, which is not authorized. That means some authorized supply also there. That suppose, for example, last day we have given the tube water, the extraction water through tube from the ground. That is not the authorized, that is unauthorized. But you are using, since you are using the wastewater generated, so that has to be counted in addition to your authorized supply. Then some rainwater infiltrates into the, not rainwater, I will say, let us stick to it is let us stick to the point of the groundwater, because we are talking about the. Now, if there is a leakage in the sanitary sewer system, then what will happen? Through leakage, through pipe bend, that groundwater will infiltrate into the soil. So this is one example of the infiltration. So this has to be added, because this water, groundwater, if infiltrates into the material, so designer has to consider this water in his estimation purpose. Then some lossage water while although some authorized water is going to the end users, but some water already lost due to the pipe faults, pipe joints, all these things, valve leakage. So that water is not coming to our destination. So there is no question of wastage, but authorized supply is there. So that portion has to be deducted, otherwise the wrong calculation will be done. And finally, we have discussed the water, which is basically 100% use. No wastewater is generated. But again, we are discussing 75 to 80% of that water we are taking as the wastewater. So that consideration is not. So that portion of the wastewater should be subtracted. For example, we have created the boiler water, which is creating the steam from the water. So some part we have seen earlier lecture, that is the additive part, and some part we have seen the subtractive part while calculating the sanitary sewage water in the design of sewer. And today we have discussed the variations of the sewage flow, and these variation maybe I have shown in graphs. That is the hourly variation, that is the day-to-day hourly variations, seasonal fluctuations, annual I mean to say daily fluctuations. So that various impact factors. We have what is the maximum flow, maximum daily flow, maximum hourly flow. All the peak factors we have discussed, and we have seen when the water flows. That means more the distance flows, then the fluctuations will also be less, and less distance flow, fluctuation will be more. So peak factor will be applicable for the less area, but not so much in the large area, that you have seen. And when you go for the sewer diameter wise, we have seen the less diameter. Suppose we are discussing for lateral sewer, there the basically the ratio of the maximum flow to average flow, that is the peak factor, is more. And if you go for the higher dia like tank sewer, then the peak factor is less, that we have seen. And finally, we have discussed the minimum flow also required along with the maximum flow. You have to check the minimum flow to avoid the siltation to precipitation. That self-cleansing velocity of the sewer has to be maintained. Otherwise, there will be sedimentation, precipitation, siltation, whatever we say, that won't be allowed because of some maintenance problem avoiding the maintenance problem. Now design period, finally we have discussed, ultimately design period depends on what factors that we have seen, and the design discharge of sanitary sewage was the ended portion of our lecture. So this is the thing. Okay students, again we'll discuss tomorrow the new topic, that is the estimation of the storm sewage. So estimation of the sanitary sewage is end over here. I can close it a day. Okay, thank you, goodbye, have a nice day, thank you so much.